Before us here, we do have a team of practitioners dealing in different technologies and solutions and fuels, and we'll be hearing them what actually they are really doing to really ensure the consumer is at the heart of all the undertakings. And I believe that because of the audience that we have here, we do have different people from different backgrounds, the policymakers. I believe that even as you go ahead and develop the policies, you'll be able to actually have a takeaway in regard to the issue of consumer. If it is financial institutions, again, there is also a takeaway for you. If it is a development facilitator, there is a takeaway for you. Because these are the people who are actually at the heart of actually interacting with the consumers. I would like to take this opportunity to dive into specific questions. And I would like to start with Peter Scott from Byrne Manufacturing. And Peter, my question to you is that how has Byrne embedded customer needs and feedback in designing and distributing cooking appliances?
Thanks, Daniel. Yeah, well, we've been working on, I've been working on cook stoves since 1997. So again, sort of market research, working with the customer has been sort of what I've done my whole career. The way that we've I think this unique about Byrne is that all of our R&D takes place here in Kenya. So I think there's other maybe companies in the space that might do R&D in other countries. And so if you're not really close to the customer on a day-to-day basis, you can end up just making mistakes. You need that really tight feedback loop. So our designers are all here, our manufacturers are here, all here. Even our hardware and our software teams are all here. And so I think that's what's really exciting moment in Kenya is that we're showing that we can beat China or India on quality, on pricing. We can make a better stove at a cheaper cost. So we're making product that is being sold now in Asia because we're making a better product, a lower cost, better quality because we've got lower cost labor. We also have a really clean grid, so we're able to make our products here. The grid is 80% clean. So sorry, I'm talking a little bit more about manufacturing, but it's really this tight feedback loop between the customer and the manufacturer. If my designers make a mistake, their customer is just outside the door, and they're going to hear about it. So yeah, we spend a lot of time thinking about how the customer will interface with the product. So even like handles. So like I'm arguing with my manufacturing team right now that the handles need to be better because for oftentimes women, for cooks in Africa, they experience the stove through handles. And I remember one of our competitors made a stove once that only had one handle. And so it's like, well, okay, obviously if you had met with your customers, you would have a product that had two handles. So obviously it's slightly more complicated than having one versus two, but just having that close relationship with the customer, I think it is really important. It's help to define Byrne. And then also just being aware of building a brand that we want to last for 1,000 years. So we really take care of our customers. So if the product breaks, we have free service. And now it's exciting with the carbon credit. The growth of carbon credits, we now need to take care of our customer. We always took care of our customer, but now because a crediting period for carbon might be 7 years, we have to service that product for 7 years and make sure that product works for people for 7 years. So it's really, we built a business that's sort of prepared for that, and now the market is going in a place where you have to have a product, whether it's electric, wood, or charcoal, that lasts for as long as possible, and we can provide free service and free repairs for those customers. So yeah.
And as a follow-up question, I know that Byrne Manufacturing produces one of the most popular charcoal stove, and I think it is maybe about almost 8 or 9 years since. And when I look back to the original or the pioneer stove and the one that is you are producing today, there is quite a lot of improvement. Could you maybe in brief give us that journey, how the iteration has been and what has actually been informing you to tweak that technological solution?
Yeah, well, we're actually about to launch a whole new version of that stove that actually comes out next month, which is a really complete new redesign of the stove. It's just been a continuous improvement, continuous feedback on things like handles and feet and durability and repairability. So it's just been a commitment to go through that process with the customer and really be interested in learning. So if we hear a complaint from a customer like, we don't just write it off. It's really because we love that process of designing with people. I don't know if there's like a particular piece of it. It's just that it's been a process of continuous improvement, and the new version that's coming out, which there may be a sample of it here, I'm not sure, but I think that's a really exciting new revamp, which really was 4 years in the making.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I would really say that next let's get to Nyarole Impact, Dorothy. And my question to you is, based on your experience, working particularly with the customers at the grassroots level, what do you see as the driving or limiting factors to the uptake of these either improved cook stoves?
Thank you, Daniel. I think one of the greatest problems that we face in the rural areas is low awareness of the improved cook stoves, because these are people who have cooked in the traditional ways, and they really do not understand why they have to change their cooking now, because to them emission is never a problem to them, and their health is never a priority to them, because they have no funds to invest in the products. So I think the low awareness is a very, very huge problem, because educating the community is not a business. It is a service that you provide. You don't earn anything for that. So for us, that is a very, very big problem for us to penetrate into the areas and get people to change their behavior and their attitudes to start adopting the clean cooking products. The other issue is also consumer financing. These are people who do not have the money to invest, and even the women groups that they have are not able to pay for the products upfront. So there is a real need for consumer financing to enable these households be able to acquire the clean cooking products that are available in the market today.
Yeah, thank you very much. And taking into account that there are quite a number of different technologies at different price points, ranging either from 500 maybe to 5,000 now to even 10,000. The question that I would like to hear, or the response I would like to hear from you, is that which solutions are more popular to the consumers down there, with or without the financing?
I think in the rural areas, the common fuels that I use, the biomass. So the biomass cook stoves would be very, very ideal for these markets. However, even a 2,000 shillings cook stove would still not be paid upfront. It would still need installment payments or monthly payments, some model of payment for the locals to be able to afford it.
And Dinesh is a briquette manufacturer as well as a pellet manufacturer. Dinesh, my question to you is that as a briquette manufacturer, what are some of the measures you have put in place to adequately meet the consumer demands, taking into account that the experience that we do have, particularly in regard to the briquette, has really been mixed. There are people who have the notion that it doesn't work. There are others who still are not even sure about it. What are you really doing? Because I know that even sometimes the demand has been overwhelming to your farm.
Thank you, Daniel. We started briquette manufacturing way back in 2008. And that too, we started with the Moroni sugar mill. And the question which was being asked is that once the sugarcane bagasse gets over, what do we do? That is the first question which was asked by our customers, like boilers, industrial boilers, etc. we came up with that solution that bagasse when got over, there are many factories, the bagasse was available. We came up with sawdust, we came up with coffees, we came up with all kinds of biomass. So when there is a need, there is always a solution. Now talking about briquettes in the cook stores, the cook stores which are there, which are using briquette, there are challenges because the briquette manufacturers are used for bigger orders. You know, when the consumer needs a smaller quantities, how to satisfy that has been always a challenge. So over a period of time, aggregating that, bring all the customers together, maybe schools, institutions, when you have got those kind of list of the customers, if you can bring them together, we can supply that solution to them and we can give them at a lower price. And for that we have come up with a solution with the pellets and the gasifier cook stores. Now gasifier cook stores is ultimately exactly like your LPG flame, you get it on the gasifier cook stores, and there is a huge potential for that because it's going to be, the charcoal, when there is a smoke production, you know, it is completely smoke-free. So when we started this pellet manufacturing and the cook stores, the uptake was slow because of the cost, because of the hindrance, the distribution, all the parameters and all the problems were there. But once you are into it, you know, you come up with the solution, and that is what we have been giving to the clients, different kinds of solution, and we were consistently innovating, coming up with the new ideas, and that is how we were trying to give the solution and meet the consumer demand, meet the customer demands of the industries as well as for the individual cook store. Thank you.
Maybe you could talk more about pellets.
Now, that's the problem with lean energy. When we started briquette in 2008, we had a huge problem because nobody heard about briquette. When I said we are manufacturing briquette, he said, what do you want? Please repeat. I said briquette. Then the moment they say Indian, they thought of cricket. You know, and then they tried to correlate with the sports. Is it a sports? That is how we have come up with. Now briquette is a household name thanks to CCAK and all the institutions and the government's initiative. Same thing happened with pellets when we started 5 years ago. You know, pellets cook stores, gasifier cook stores, and these small pellets, can we use it in our Jiko and can they burn? They cannot burn in the normal Jiko because it's a different technology where you starve it of oxygen, as a result of which you create gases, and these gases come through the hole and creates a flame exactly like LPG's flame. Now, to understand there is a lot of resistance, and any new product, probably we have always been too early in the market. That's been a problem. When we started briquettes and when we are talking about, like we have been in this market since more than 15 years. We have produced 150,000 tons of briquettes. It means that 1 ton of briquettes reduces 1 ton of CO2 emission. So we have saved 150,000 tons of CO2 emission. 1 ton of briquette create 18 man days of employment. We have created 1.8 million man days of employment. 1 ton of briquette saves $150 of foreign exchange because you don't have to import the diesel or petrol and the furnace oil from the neighboring Gulf countries. So we have saved $22.5 million of worth of foreign exchange for Kenya. We have contributed a lot. But when we started, we had a huge problem, huge resistance. Same thing happened 5 years ago when we started pellets. We invested, we could not succeed. Probably this is the time, after 7 years, the time has come when people are accepting this change and they are going for it. So it's been always a problem for us, but we know that we can come up with a solution, and especially in briquette sector, we have saved a lot, and there is a big demand because the prices of fuel, furnace oil and diesel have gone through the roof now. So I think it's a time, and you have to be at the right time at the right place. And till that time, you have to be patient. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dinesh. We'll come for more. Yeah, my next question is to Mabel. And Mabel is from Coco Network. And Coco Network has seen such a rapid connections within a very short period. Could you tell us more about that? What has really contributed to such a rapid growth of connections? And yeah, because you also mentioned that I think you do have about 700,000 connections so far.
Exactly. There is a rapid demand for biofuels around the world. Yesterday, I was sitting in a workshop by the IEA about the rise in the demand for biofuels. And one of the speakers was talking about the difference in the reason for demand in the developed world and in Africa. In the developed world, it's based on environmental and climate change issues, concerns about prioritizing emissions reductions. However, in Africa, the demand is based on the development impact of transitioning households to a clean fuel like ethanol. The improved energy access for especially very low income households. We've seen the demand rise as cocoa. The beginning of the year, in January, we were just under 200,000 households in two major markets in Nairobi and Mombasa. And yesterday, we hit 700,000 households. So we grew about 10,000 households per week. Last month we had a record-hitting week of 40,000 cookers sold. So the market is there and the demand is there. I think another thing that is increasing the demand is the potential for the growth of the local ethanol industry. It's a nascent industry, but there's a lot of potential for growth. One document I would encourage everyone to look at is the Ethanol for Cooking Master Plan. It was developed by Dalberg Consultancy and the German Climate Initiative. In that document, it talks about how the potential could reach up to 200 million liters in demand in Kenya alone per year. But I guess the issue would be accessibility and affordability of the fuel. And building that industry would attract climate finance, it would support smallholder farmers, and potentially create hundreds of thousands of jobs across the value chain. I think one thing that cocoa is trying to encourage is creating an evidence base through research to support policy and also other private sector initiatives as this demand grows in Kenya.
Yeah, a follow-up question is that you realize there is a difference between the connection and sustained usage. Could you elaborate more? Does it mean that the 700,000 who are already connected are going back for the refills? And if not, what are the issues and how are you addressing them?
So I guess that goes back to what we've been talking about continuously engaging with the customer, that continuous feedback loop. So we have a very strong market research team that is constantly engaging with the customer. We have a network operations center that is collecting millions of data points on customer usage, on fuel consumption, on purchase behaviors. So we're collecting a lot of data. We're also engaging with the customer. We have a robust after-sales service. We have a free customer care line, and we have customer care teams that engage with the customers on a daily basis at home. So we're collecting a lot of data and seeing how we can translate that into initiatives that can encourage not only engagement with the customer, getting customers, but also retaining them once they join the cocoa system.
Data from the consumer. I would like to get to Adams from Systema. And for those who don't know, Systema is a biodigester company that actually focuses on what we call prefabs. And of late, there has been also a rapid adoption and acceptance of prefab types of biodigesters. Would you like to tell us more about what is the secret? Take into account, biogas in Kenya is not actually new. It started in 1957 with the fixed dome type. And to date, we do have or maybe about 26,000 units, and around 10,000 are prefabs. Could you tell us basically what has really been the driver, and also what has really been also causing such a high level of demand?
Thank you, Daniel. Before I answer you, I think let me give a bit of, can I say, history or context? On a daily basis, Systema Bio representatives speak or hold conversations with about 5,000 farmers. So clearly you can tell that we are listening, we're meeting and having conversations and listening to a lot of people every day. While we have these conversations, we are observing, we are recording, we are noticing, we are completing data sets that support the back end in terms of design. What Daniel is alluding to is one of the things that has shaped Systema's strategy in terms of product design that is now a phenomenon in Kenya. Previously, obviously not a new technology, farmers are adopting prefabricated technology. Technology that is a lot easier to run or manage, for lack of a better word. That is easier to troubleshoot, that's easier to, through the life cycle of the product, customers optimize satisfaction by using and maintaining that technology over its lifespan. So our communities, by design, spread across geographies, tell us certain things. It's amazing how little details shape strategy. Family sizes are changing. We used to have so many people in the homestead. We now have, give or take, 5 people in the home. Home designs are different. We have external kitchens, and so on. Farm sizes are changing. People are selling off land, some are acquiring more land. Topographies are different. We have undulating farms. We have, you know what I mean? So all these have necessitated change in technology. Because there's a lot of dissatisfaction with the old technology, farmers, through education, through access to information, they're able to now understand and appreciate new technology. I'm not bragging, but we're the runaway market leader with our technology. Of course, there are a lot of people who are now adopting the same, and they probably get better than us. I'm not sure, but this is to the benefit of the farmer. So that is the situation, that is a reality, and this is shaped by data that we're all talking about. And like I said, we're having a lot of conversations every day, so we have first-hand access to what is happening, and that has shaped our strategy in terms of product, in terms of RTMs, in terms of our marketing strategy, and on and on. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much. And a follow-up question to that is, affordability has always been an issue, and particularly to the biogas. Take into account that it does not cost like a stove, a Jiko, or an LPG, or something of that kind. We are talking about probably over 50,000 Kenya shillings. How have you been addressing the question of the affordability?
Thank you. I think that question is not peculiar to us alone. It transcends the whole spectrum in terms of what we are all trying to achieve. We have options, just like Dorothy mentioned. For those that can do it, they make an upfront payment, and we do the rest of the work. We install and we maintain. Majority of them, of course, through data, cannot do that. So we have plans, just like Dorothy mentioned. So if you cannot make the full payment, you do it in bits over time. Obviously, that also calls for investment in terms of credit assessment. There's a lot of investment in terms of loan recoveries, and given the impacts economically on our communities, especially in the last 2-3 years with the drought and everything, that's quite a challenge as we speak. So yes, there are options.
Thank you very much. Let's get to Don. Don is from Kijani Testing Center. Would you like to hear more about what you have actually been doing, and whether you have been taking any consumer insight, particularly when you are giving the feedback to the clients, and whether they have also even been addressing such kind of concerns? Thank you.
Yes, so at Kijani Testing, we, as I said, we act as a linkage between the solution providers and the customers.
So what we do is we partner with the different manufacturers of solutions, the people who come up with the solutions, and we bring the solutions to the customers. So once the solutions are with the customers, we find out what are their experience with these solutions and whether these solutions are really impacting on their lives. Also, apart from just bringing them to the customers, we also do lab testing of these solutions. So in the lab testing, we do functionality testing, we do qualitative testing, usability, just to verify that the solutions match whatever the solution provider intends to bring to the market. And then, so also after all this testing, we also do something called the market testing. So we look at the solutions and how they are able to blend into the market and also compete with other solutions that are available into the market. Yes, so we have partnered with a number of solutions providers in the clean cooking space, and I think so far so good. I would say that the feedback is well received both the ends from the customer and the solution provider. And the major point from this is we see that there is an improvement in terms of customer relationship between the solution provider and the customers. Yes.
Yeah, as a follow-up question, could you talk more about the lab testing variations between the lab testing and the field testings, and to what extent have you been able to really manage the two, if there has been any sort of variation in terms of the results that have been?
Yes, so yeah, I can say that most of the solutions that come for us for testing, you find that someone comes with an idea that he feels that will sort out the customer's need, right? And then this idea, apart from the locally developed ideas, most of them come from outside. And you find that in our communities, we have also different technologies that we use. So we look at the variations in the lab, and we compare with the expectations in the market, and then we are able to give the feedback. Say, this and this design might not be really accepted by the customer or might not compete very well given the other products that are already in the market. And we have also partnered with organizations such as CLASP. So CLASP has helped us put that information out there. So once we do this lab testing, we are able to give them data and they're able to publish, and this data is available for even the competitors. So they are able to look at what kind of variations are here and what they need to do to make improvements. Yes.
Yeah. Great, thank you. I think let's get to Isaac. And I'd like to hear more, in particular, Isaac being a grassroots association, particularly for the artisans. I'd like to hear from you in terms of what strategies has Isaac relied on to develop, to strengthen, and even to sustain the artisanal supply chain of improved food stores.
Okay, thanks. Thank you, Dan. Isaac, as I said before, is a membership association whose members are producers of energy saving stoves. The geocali sector are also members, stockists, and builders, people who install the GECOS. We are working with the local administration to mainstream the gender, idea in their work, where we get to the chiefs, the assistant chiefs, the community administrators to integrate the store's agenda into their work plan. We also sensitized and mobilized communities on the importance of these energy saving GECOS. We are mostly dealing with artisanal stores because we produce and install. It is artisanal actually, unlike the factory manufactured stores. We get in touch with the local, what we call the mamanbogas, we get in touch with them, do village to village, house to house sensitization, and try to sell the idea of the stores to them. We have also partnered with other organizations to train artisans on how to install these decos, because being locally available stores at the grassroots, made from locally available materials like the pottery soil, it is very easy to get artisans, to get people who can install, who can build the stores for the women and for their kitchen back there at home.
Yeah, a follow-up question is, as you know, times are changing. New solutions are coming to the market. How is ISAC keeping up to the pace? Do you see opportunities? Do you see emerging solutions as threats to the artisan world? Or basically, what are you really doing? Tell us.
Well, that is one of our major challenges, because we are competing with well-established factories, and our members are people who live in the villages. So the challenge of competition is ripe and true, but then our stores are the most affordable stores in this industry. Given that we only need very, very local available materials, stones and maybe some clay soil to install this deco. So in as much as we shall have to cope with the well-established companies who are making other stores in this industry, we stand a better chance to reach the market, unlike our competitors.
Okay, thank you very much.